The Sri Sampradaya. Lakshmi is the head of this Sampradaya. Lakshmi Devi is always engaged in massaging the lotus feet of Narayan. She is known as Sri, which means opulence, fortune, beauty. Lakshmi is the reservoir of all these things. The devotees in this Sampradaya worship Lord Narayan. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5:27-28, there is a description of Lord Narayan that is given in the Sri Sampradaya. They saw the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, mounted on Garuda and holding Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, to his chest. He resembled a bluish rain cloud with flashing lightning, and in 2 of his 4 hands he held a conch shell and disc. His arms stretched down to his knees, and all his beautiful limbs were smeared with sandalwood and decorated with glittering ornaments. A famous spiritual master in the Sri Sampradaya is Ramanuja Acharya. When he was still a boy, he attended the school of a famous Sanskrit and Vedic teacher, Yadava. Although Ramanuja was an excellent student, his heart was pained when he heard Yadava describe the Supreme Lord as without form. One day, when a fellow student asked Yadava about the qualities of the Supreme, the teacher replied with an impersonal answer. At this point, Ramanuja spoke his heart. The Supreme is endowed with all gracious qualities and is the source of all beautiful things in this world. The teacher became angry and challenged Ramanuja to describe the Lord. Ramanuja began to reply, "The 2 eyes of the Supreme are as lovely as 2 lotuses that are blossomed by the rays of the sun." The teacher was extremely angry and replied, "You speak as though there actually was such a supreme person. That is because you are childish and ignorant." A few days later, a similar situation occurred, and this time the teacher was so angry he was screaming at Ramanuja, "Get out of my school immediately. Go start your own school." Yadava watched the boy leave and voiced to others, "For the sake of preserving our doctrine, this fool should be killed." Ramanuja did open a small school at his home, and many came to hear his devotional discourses. Seeing his growing popularity, the arrogant Yadava gathered his students and declared, "This Ramanuja is a heretic. He must be killed." The students all agreed and devised a plan to assassinate him. One of the younger students, though, told Ramanuja's cousin, who warned him of the plot. The cousin requested Ramanuja to flee into the forest immediately, and then he informed Yadava and his followers that Ramanuja had been killed by a tiger in the forest. Ramanuja walked deep into the forest and became lost. One day he dreamed that he saw Lord Ram and his consort Sita, who showed him the way to a village named Kanchi. Ramanuja followed their instructions and arrived at that village. There he gave many wonderful discourses about the Supreme Lord. One day a saint named Ramanuja Acharya came to his door begging alms. Ramanuja welcomed in the saint, and hearing Ramanuja Acharya speak about the Supreme Lord, he knew he had found his spiritual master. Overwhelmed with ecstasy, Ramanuja fell at his feet and begged to be accepted as his disciple. Ramanuja Acharya was coming in the line of the Sri Sampradaya. Some years later, when his spiritual master departed from this world, Ramanuja served the deity of Lord Narayan and spoke to whomever came to him until he was 120 years old. One day, while worshipping Narayan, he prayed, "Dear Lord, whatever I could do to preserve the essence of the Vedas, to uplift the fallen souls, and to establish the shelter of your lotus feet as the supreme goal in life, I have done. Now my body has grown tired after many years in this world. Kindly allow me to depart from this mortal world and enter your supreme abode." Ramanuja remained on earth for 3 more days. To appease the afflicted hearts of his disciples, Ramanuja spoke his last instructions. Have faith in the teaching of the Vedas and in the words of the great saints. Never become the slave of your senses. Always strive to conquer the 3 great enemies of self-realization: lust, anger, and greed. Worship Narayan and take pleasure in uttering the holy names of God as your only refuge. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote in a letter in 1974, "So far as I am personally concerned, following the footsteps of my Guru Maharaj Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Prabhupada, we accept the principles of all the Acharyas, although officially we belong to the Madhva Sampradaya. Our Sampradaya is known as the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. We find great shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Ramanuja Acharya because his lotus feet are the strongest fort to combat the Mayavadi philosophy."
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama